भूतानां तस्यां जागृति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः। यह what nisa in night is night sarva all bhutanam all living entities tasyam in that jagrati is wakeful samyami the self control yasyam in which jagrati are awake bhutani all living beings that is nisa night pashyata for the introspective mune sage. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada King. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. Please repeat. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. There are two classes of intelligent men. One is intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and the other is introspective and awake to the cultivation of self-realization. Activities of the introspective sage or thoughtful man are night for persons materially absorbed. Materialistic persons remain asleep in such a night due to their ignorance of self-realization. The introspective sage remains alert in the night of the materialistic man. The sages feel transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture, whereas the man in materialistic activities, being asleep to self-realization, dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distressed in a sleeping condition. The introspective man is always indifferent to the materialistic happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reaction. So, I'll read the translation again. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is the night for the introspective sage. So there's Krishna is giving two kinds of people here. One is the Muni, Munehe is it. So, and the ordinary people in the world, like most of us here. So, what it means here? It says that what is night for all beings is the time of awakening. So, when the time when we are sleeping, most of us will be sleeping in the Brahma Muhurta time, 4:30 a.m., 5 o'clock, right? That time only the devotees, they will get up for Mangala Arati. And the devotees, they go to sleep early in the night so that they can wake up in the morning for Mangala Arati. And that is the time the people will go out there to, the ordinary people will go out there to get sense gratification. You'll see the Gelam, here, night time, fully busy. Police car will keep coming. This crime is also happening at the time. So there is a difference between the waking time and the sleeping time. So this is not only in relation to waking and sleeping. It is also life, the goal of life. Majority of us who have attained human body, we are wasting the time. You know how long we are living. We are wasting so much of time in material pursuits. We are not asking this question, who am I? Why am I doing here? Why am I suffering? How to come out of this suffering? When you start asking these questions, that is called Muni. Muni is someone who is questioning about the absolute truth. Right? So basically what we can see here is how you define it is priorities. How you prioritize your life, that shows whether you are a devotee or a person who is after sense gratification, a karmi, they call it. Karmi means one who wants to enjoy as much sense pleasure as possible. So what is the commonality between the devotees and the karmi? What is the similarity? Both of us wants happiness. Correct. No matter what religion you follow or what you are doing in your life, everybody in this world is searching for happiness. Anybody wants to be not happy? Correct. Everyone wants happiness. Number two, what else we want? We want knowledge, because we know when we have knowledge, we feel, when you gain some new knowledge, how you feel? You feel happy, right? You want why the scientists are spending so much of money to get knowledge of the universe and going to the space and doing all sorts of things, because they want knowledge. Recently, I saw a few videos. Some individuals, usually the Caucasians, the Westerners, what they do? They try to go inside the cave. Why? They say, oh, you want to explore the cave to get knowledge. What knowledge you'll get in the cave? So what they do, they go inside the cave. Okay, you go inside the cave, never mind. The cave will have some small hole, like it's so small that even I cannot go in that kind of hole. This guy is 6 foot and he's squeezing inside the hole and crawling. Imagine you're inside your mother's womb, how squeezing it is. They want to experience that again. And they're, you're totally claustrophobic. Entire body is smashed. You cannot even move, you have to move like that, very slow. You have to push your body, you have to move your hips, just for the reason of getting knowledge what is inside there. And you know how many people died doing that? There's one man who went all the way in, he couldn't come out. He thought he can go further down and make a U-turn. When he went further down, it was a dead end, and he was stuck head in. Imagine the space is how, it's so you cannot even move that kind of space. He's stuck head in, his leg is up and upside down. How for 27 hours? What we are not. Our body is not designed to be upside down. All the blood flow, the oxygen cannot. After that, he just died, and the rescue effort was there to save him. How do you pull him out? There's no way to. There's no space to even pull him out. So then what happened? He died. So basically, what happened was he went and found his own grave. It's like you are digging your own grave, going inside the grave and covering yourself. So after that, after he died, what they did, they sealed the cave, closed it, and that became his tombstone, right? The whole place is his grave now. So you see, what is the reason when you ask these people, why you are doing such crazy things, So we want to get knowledge, but they don't know what knowledge to get. So everybody wants happiness, everybody wants knowledge, everybody wants to not die. We want eternal life. Nobody likes to die. So what is these three things? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means eternal life. Chit means knowledge. Ananda means happiness. And who is Satchit Ananda? Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Krishna is that Satchit Ananda. Krishna is having full eternal life. He is full of knowledge. He is full of bliss. So if you are searching for Satchit Ananda in the cave of material life, whereas if you come to Krishna, this is there. So the point is, everybody here, devotees and non-devotees and karmis, everyone is looking for Krishna. But here we are looking in the right way. We are looking through Shastra. By knowledge of Vedas, by knowledge of the Gita, you can get Krishna. But they are trying to get Krishna in their own material sense gratification. The idea of doing something is to get happiness, right? So basically, if you think about it, Krishna also says here, if you look at this verse here, so he says here, Ye tamam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasa. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So everybody is searching for Krishna in the end. So we are going through so many lives, doing this, becoming a bear, becoming a tiger, becoming a whale, experiencing so many different pleasures, until one day we realize this pleasure is not making me happy. And then if you're fortunate enough, you manage to meet a devotee who gives you the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. And then you can understand. So everybody is in a different step. Imagine Krishna is the 100th step. Somebody is in 50th step. Somebody is in 25th step. So that's why there are so many paths, so many religions, so many processes. Krishna also gave the process of yoga, jnana, karma. But ultimately, we have to come to the 100th step of associating with Krishna, and only possible by bhakti yoga. Only through bhakti you can understand Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijananti. So, point is, we want happiness. Correct? The difference between devotees and even so we see Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam. The Muni is one who seeks happiness through Krishna consciousness, whereas the normal person will seek happiness through sense gratification. And if you seek happiness through sense gratification, what happens? You can see here. Yada kescharitanjayan karmani achinute sakrit sati karmani avidyayam bandha karmani anatmanaha. As long as we desire to enjoy sense gratification, we create material activities. When the living entity acts in material field, he enjoys the senses, and while enjoying the senses, he creates another series of material activities. In this way, the living entity becomes entrapped and a conditioned soul. So now you're having this life. This life is here, this body is here, because you had desires from previous lives. Sometimes you forget, I had this desire. You'll be blaming God. Why am I suffering so much? But actually, if you think back, you trace back, maybe in the 70 lifetime before you had that desire. Krishna only giving you your whatever you wanted is giving you, no? Why are you blaming God then? God is giving you, now I'm giving you a ship. You are staying, you are in this place, you have to cross the ocean. I said, okay, take this ship and cross the ocean. Come out of this place. You are taking the ship and becoming a Jack Sparrow, pirate. You go around doing piracy. How? So Krishna has given you this body, which is like the ship. And this body is a ship which helps you to cross the material ocean of birth and death. Instead of crossing that, you're using the body to do all these pirate activities. Then what happens? Then you're going to get another body after another body, another body. Your desire will be there. After that, you see, you may have a desire now. You cannot fulfill immediately, right? So many persons have to have qualifications. So God is fair. If you don't qualify for it, you also won't get it, right? Somebody did tapasya to become Ambani. Immediately you cannot get in this lifetime. So he did how much tapasya? But in the end, after becoming Ambani, also no use. He has to again go through the cycle of birth and death. So this is the thing that a devotee. Another example, like Mahabharata, right? Amba. She wanted revenge on Bhishmadev because Bhishmadev refused to marry her after she was rejected by Salva. So she plotted her revenge. But after how many years the revenge came? Did it come immediately? She had to die first. And then she has to born again as Sikandi. And then the war happened when the Pandavas were almost 80 years old. You can imagine the time taken to fulfill that one desire. And after fulfilling the desire of revenge, what she gained? Did she gain anything? In the end, she was also killed in the sleep. Ashwatthama came and cut the Sikandi and all the children of Pandavas, and all these things happened. So what's the point? You having this desire, you did your desire, but where you go next? So devotee is someone who doesn't want to waste time in this. Let's get out of this material world. Let's stop this karma once and for all. I can go and take revenge. Then I'll take birth again, right? Forget it. Somebody offend me, forget it. Just smile, laugh only. Don't bother. So that's why the devotee is in another level. Of course, we cannot be like there's also like Pandavas. They had to fight the war. That is because of Krishna's dharma yuddha is necessary. But in our personal dealings, we can try to overcome. Somebody insult me in the office. Why should I think so much about it? I start cursing him also. Then I'm creating more reactions. So we must always think that, okay, I am getting this reaction because previous life, I did something wrong. Krishna is giving me now this problem, very less. Prabhupada said sometimes the problem will come in a dream only. After dream is finished, for a devotee who surrendered. They will come as a dream and he'll go. So we cannot imagine how much of sinful activities we have done. millions and millions of life. But Krishna says, but in this life, you just offer me one flower, patram pushpam phalam toyam. I forgive you. You just accept me as your father. The son may do so much nonsense. After so many years, he come back to the home. The father will reject. Father say, come, come. Of course, the father will be angry. Mother only will make the connection. Mother also Radharani. She says, son has come, come and call him. Father will say, he came so far, ask him to come in. Why he's standing outside? The father will father have he's merciful like Krishna. So Radharani is the connection that helps us to connect to our father, whose relationship we have lost. Right. So the Muni is someone who knows this, and a Karmi, he does these things. He goes by doing all these things, going one life after one life after one life. And what is the point? We are searching for happiness. We are doing these material things to get happiness, right? But guess what? If you see this verse, Jalam tad ubavaishchanam hitvagno jalakamaya mृगत्राश्नम upadhavet tatanyantra kadrikshavat. Just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, but runs after water elsewhere. The living entity is covered by material body, does not see the happiness within himself, and run after happiness in the material world. The deer, you see, another example, you see the deer, the musk, we are using musk, is coming from the deer, the perfume, musk. So the deer has the musk smell, very nice smell coming. He's thinking where this smell is coming from and he's searching everywhere, but it's actually with him only. Similarly, we are searching for this happiness outside in the material world. We cannot find it. The happiness belongs to the soul. And why does it belong to the soul? Because the soul is part and parcel of the supreme soul, Krishna. Krishna is full of, like Prabhu was giving example yesterday. You take a rice, you cook rice. How to know the rice is cooked? Sandeep Prabhu told me. You take two rice, one piece in you just squeeze. You'll see the rice is cooked. Correct? You don't need to test the entire. Similarly, Krishna has all the qualities. That means we also have the minute quality. If Krishna is full of bliss, we also have bliss, but to a smaller extent. So the happiness comes not by going for the outside pleasure, but going inside and seeking pleasure with the Supreme. And how we do that is by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when you chant this Hare Krishna mantra, you re-establish your connection with Krishna. You become his devotee, automatically the happiness will come. So if you see this verse in Bhagavad Gita also, such a liberated person is not attracted by material sense pleasure. This is a devotee. Or external objects, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Just by connecting with God, to Krishna. Krishna means what? Krish means all of existence. Na means Ananda. Krish means all attractive. He's so attractive, he attracts everyone. And we are going after something attractive, right? Why? Because that attractive item gives us happiness. So why not go after the supreme most attractive person, Krishna, Rama, Narayana, right? Then automatically happiness comes, right? Why we are wasting time going after the social media? We are scrolling. We are trying to squeeze some kind of happiness out of a little bit. We have some attraction, let's say, to cricket. We keep watching cricket or boxing, football. Some attraction is there and some happiness comes, but it never lasts long. See? So go to the ultimate. So how to do all these things? The question. What is preventing us from doing these things is the mind. Right? Now everybody, like say, I already told you, everybody wants to be happy. But remember this point. You cannot be happy until you control the mind. This is very important. Is there anybody who became successful in the world, spiritually or materially, without controlling the mind? Anyone? You have so many heroes, right? Like Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar, all. They had to control the mind to practice that much of cricket, right? Let's say some billionaire like Ambani and all. They have mind control. So if you see all these successful people, successful celebrities, actors, singers, sportsmen, they spend a lot of time controlling the mind to achieve success in that activity. Without the mind control, not possible. But they have mind control in that specific activity. Just like, let's say, Cristiano Ronaldo, he has mind control in football. He's expert in football. But in other fields of life, he's normal guy. You know, he actually had sex with some prostitute and he had some scandal and all this. So he had no control over his senses. Yeah, he has control over his mind to play football, but not on the illicit sex. So when you come to talk about spiritual life is not only one aspect, you know. Spiritual life is the aspect of the entire life. It's about entire character. Right? To not eat meat. You need mind control. The tongue will say, I want to eat this, I want to eat that. You have to control the mind. To not have illicit sex out of marriage life. You know, also need control mind. To not gamble. These are the 4 principles I'm saying. Not gambling. People going to casino, wasting money. You know, one billionaire, he told to Tatvit Prabhu, he wasted 700 million in the casino. And 1 million, and he cannot give money to the temple to build a temple. No mind control. Right? And what is the other one? Eating, gambling, intoxication. And to smoke, to drink. All these things require mind control. Right? So to become a devotee requires a high level of mind control. It's not easy. Correct? Is it easy to be a devotee? So many rules to follow. So now if you think about Cristiano Ronaldo and all these people, why they can control the mind to play football is because there is raga. Raganuga. What is raganuga? Raganuga means there's attraction, there is love. Because they love that activity, they can easily control the mind. Correct. When you love something, you won't feel difficult doing it. Right? But when you talk about a devotee and a devotional life, we don't have love for Krishna. We are covered. Our mind is covered with so much of ahankar, tamogun, ignorance, avidya. So the natural attraction for Krishna is there. You know, it's there. But what is that verse? NOI 7. You see this verse? स्यात् कृष्ण नाम चरितादिसितापि अविद्या पित्तोपतप्तरसनस्य नरोचिकानु किन्त्वादरत् अनुदिनं खलु सैव जुष्टा स्वादिक्रमद्भवति तद्गदमूलहन्त्री. So he says, Swat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapi Avidya. The holy name of Krishna is very sweet, like sugar candy. Right? Krishna's name is so sweet. Although the tongue is afflicted by jaundice, avidya. Kintva let's see the verse again. Swat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapi Avidya. Pittopa Tapta Rasanasya Narochikano. But for one, what is Pittopa Tapta? If you have this bile problem, you know, jaundice. When you have jaundice, when you take sugar, it is not sweet. It feels bitter. So naturally, Krishna's holy name is sweet. Krishna's pastime is sweet. Krishna's leela is very sweet. But for us, it is not sweet. You tell somebody, read Krishna book, read Bhagavad Gita. They don't want to read because it feels so bitter. They rather spend their time watching some Bollywood movie. That feels very sweet. Because you are inflicted with the jaundice disease. And why this? Pittopa tapta rasanasya na rochikano. Because why this jaundice comes from avidya, ignorance. Ignorance has covered our existence, our eternal existence. Just an example, like a magnet is covered by rust. Sorry, not magnet, iron. See, when you take magnet and iron, it will attract, immediate attraction. But if the iron is rusty, it cannot attract. This rust is the avidya. But how to cure this? Kintva adharat anudinam kalusaiva justa. Every day, if you Swadikramat bhavati tat gadamula hantri. If you every day you start chanting Krishna's name, how do you clear this rust? By hearing. So you see, the mind is controlling the senses. What are the senses? We have the nose, eyes, ears, tongue. taste, skin. We have also the five working senses: the rectum, the genitals, the stomach, the feet, and the hands. Total 10 senses, right? We call it the Gyanendriyas, Karmendriyas, controlled by the mind. So the senses are running. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to consume this. I want to eat this. I want to feel this. I want to touch this. I want to smell this. So the best way to control the senses is by the hearing. You know, because the hear is very powerful sense. If all that, when you're going to die, all the senses will go away. You know, you cannot see, you cannot taste, you cannot smell, but the last sense that remains is the ear. Even when you're sleeping, somebody comes to rob your house. If somebody, you cannot see the robber, right? But you can hear. Something drops, you can hear. So the hear, if you use that here and you listen to the Swadikramat Bhavati Tat Gada Moola Hantre, and if you do that, what will happen? By carefully chanting these sweet names every day, the natural relish awakens within his tongue, and the disease is gradually destroyed at this root. So what we are trying to do here, the devotees, we are trying to control the mind, as I was speaking earlier, to be attracted to Krishna. Now it's not attracted. So what we are doing now is called Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti. Until it comes to the platform of Raganuga, it is going to be very difficult. And that is only possible in the association of sadhus, devotees, and by surrendering to the Guru. By the mercy of the Guru only you can get this pace. So this is what we are trying to discuss about the mind. You see how powerful it is. That mind control is so necessary to help us to achieve happiness. Your end goal is happiness, right? How to do that? Control the mind. Use the time to spend to hear. So now, just now we were showing the verse, Yani sa sarva bhutanam. One is sleeping at night, one is awakening at night. Again, another difference between both these people is the priorities in life. A devotee prioritizes his time to cultivate spiritual life. He don't waste time. Whereas a karmi, maybe their priority is spiritual life little bit. Yeah, I'll come once a week, Sunday, that's it. But the rest of the priority is going to material activities. So how much we prioritize, that much time you will spend, right? When you prioritize on an activity, the time you will spend on the activity, and you will create the means to achieve success in that activity, right? The times and the means is connected to the prioritization. So when we have no understanding that spiritual life is the real priority, what will happen? We waste time. So how to know that spiritual life is the most priority in life, in human life, is by hearing, continuous reading, chanting, discussing with devotees, engaging in service. You must keep doing this. It's very difficult, but you have to push yourself. Example, there was a story I saw, I think, in YouTube a few years ago. There was a teacher who came to the class. He took a jar, right? He took a jar, and then he filled it up with the big stones. And then he asked the students, is the jar filled up? Then the students say, yes, it's filled up. And then he said, okay. Now he took pebbles. He started filling up somehow. Pebbles are going in because there are gaps. Then the teacher said, now is it filled up? Say, yes, filled up. Then the teacher took sand, filled up some more. Sand also went inside. He said, this is filled up? Yes, filled up. Any more can do? No. Then he took water and he became more full. So the teacher told, you know what is the meaning of this? If you put your priority as the big things, like sand, the stone is the big things in life. The sand is all the small, minute things, you know. The pebbles are all the, going to office and dealing with all these things, material things. But if we treat the big things, the stone, as the spiritual life, and fill it up first, then our time gets aligned. If you understand. But if you put the sand first, how you will put the stones? If you put all the small things in life that you need to do materially, I need to do this, I need to do this for my child, I need to do that. You waste so much of time, and then you forget about the big stones. That's it. But if you prioritize on the bigger things in life, that means you align your life. Okay, now I need to finish 16 rounds. That is a priority. So you will set time to chant the rounds, right, in the morning. Prabhupada said, I need to read 1 hour a day. You will set time to read. Then, I don't know, I need to do some service. I need to do, let's say, calling or Sankirtan. I'm going to come and do. So you plan your life like that. You prioritize your spiritual life. Then all the other material things that has to be done, like the small things, will somehow fit in. But if you try to fit in spiritual life as a small pebble and do all the big things, you will be the loser in the end. Right? So this is the difference. Jnanisha Sarvabhutanam Pasyam Jagrati Samyami. The Muni, he knows how to prioritize. Whereas the Karmi, he prioritizes on the wrong thing. His mind is going towards the wrong activities and he ensures that he takes repeated birth and death. So if we know the end goal, we want to come out of this material world. We want to go back to Krishna. Then obviously we have to prioritize our time in that. No, you have to become expert in that activity. If you don't become expert in Krishna consciousness, you're just like an intern. Then how much you will? If you are expert in your working place, you are earning a lot of salary, right? If you are intern, how much you earn? Similarly, we have to become an expert in the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Then our life will be successful. So this is the point. So how does a devotee live his life? You can see here. Those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness, this is spoken by Maharaj Rishabdev. So those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing the love of Godhead do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. So devotee does not like, if the activity is not related to Krishna, they will avoid. Somehow they'll give excuse. People won't like you. Material people won't like you. Why this guy always avoiding? But he knows he's wasting time. You know. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies. They avoid association of people, who are like that. Of course, we give our association. We try our best to help people understand about Krishna consciousness. Help them prioritize Krishna consciousness, right? So they are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Because you understand, if you keep associating with someone, you will develop those qualities, 100%. You associate with a smoker, you will eventually become a smoker. You will want to, because you want to fit in. You want to be cool. Imagine all your friends smoking, you don't smoke, you feel left out, no? This is especially when you're when you're a child, when you're going to school. You feel, oh, how I can pack my mother's food and bring in the lunch box. I also felt like that, no? How I can bring, it's not cool, My friends, they look at me, what is this? So one time, what happened? One time, I was not eating that time. And my friends always look at me, why this guy always missing in the, this is, I think, 12 years old. So one time, my mother bought some Buddhist vegetarian food, the soya which looks like meat. So this time I proudly went and eat in front of them. See, I'm eating meat. But what I know is vegetarian food, because I want to fit in. You see how much we are conditioned to become with the people we are associating with. And that day they look at me, oh, you're eating, huh? Oh, good, huh? What are you eating? Oh, you're eating pig, nice. The chassis, but vegetarian one. So you see, when you are a child, it is even more difficult to control the mind. Children, the mind will go everywhere, right? So when we understand this, we have strong understanding. Now the children, they're having children class. That time, my time, we don't have. If you now the child, he will tell if the friend say, why you don't eat meat, he will tell this is wrong, because he has knowledge. Knowledge gives you confidence. If you have knowledge, you'll be confident to preach. If not, you won't preach. So similarly, they are not attached to their homes. So how a devotee, they are having home, but they are not attached. Although they may be householders, now they are attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties. They perform their duties, but without attachment, detached. Such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep the body and soul together. So devotee doesn't bother so much over endeavoring to make money. It's enough to maintain our life. So the time is not wasted. The devotee is very determined that his priority is given as much as possible throughout the day. You can analyze. You can, if you take note of your day, how much time is going to Krishna consciousness, how much time is going. Then you can see how to improve yourself. No. So this is how a devotee lives his life. So we can also talk. I will actually tell a story which is related to this point about a devotee, a pure devotee of the Lord. How, of course, we know Bilva Mangal story, but this is another story of Yamunacharya. You know Yamunacharya? He is the Acharya and the Sri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya's guru. Yamunacharya, great devotee, very great, pure devotee of the Lord. Even Prabhupada was quoting many of his verses from Stotra Ratna. So if you see Yamunacharya's life story, you can see how his priorities changed halfway. So Yamunacharya was his grandfather is Nathamuni, Sri Nathamuni. Nathamuni is the first person in Sri Sampradaya who revived the Sampradaya. The Sri Sampradaya starts from Lakshmi Devi and then all the Alvars. The Alvars, there are 12 of them. Actually, they say 10 or 12. They wrote 4,000 verses. They called it the Divya Prapandam. These 4,000 verses is like their Vedas, glorifying the Lord. So over the years, over the centuries, the knowledge got lost. So Nathamuni, he appeared in the 8th century. 800 AD. 800 AD he appeared. So that time the verses, 4,000 verses, all were lost except for 10 verses. So Nathamuni was going to the temple. So he saw the priests, they were chanting these verses. This temple is in Kumbakonam. Kumbakonam is called Sarangapani temple. Aravamardan. The Lord is lying down. The very interesting temple. The Lord is lying down. We call it Uttana Sayanam. Shayana, right? He's lying down. But Uttana Sayana means he's almost getting up. Why like that? Because previously another Alvar, Tirumalisai Alvar, he went there. So he saw the Lord lying down. He started to sing. So these are the verses, Divya Prabandham. He's all in Tamil. Of course, our Kulashekar Alvar also has many verses in the Divya Prabandham. And Kulashekar Alvar was the only one who wrote in Sanskrit. So when this Alvar went there, he saw the Lord lying down. He started to sing, "Oh my Lord, what happened? Your legs are paining because you're Ramachandra, you're walking so much, 14 years. Is that why you're lying down like that?" It's very poetic language. I cannot pronounce that. So the Lord saw that, Tirumalisai has come. He's calling me, he's asking me why I'm lying down. The Lord started to getting up like that. Then the Tirumalisai Alvar said, because of me you're getting up, please don't get up, you stay as you are. Like, you play the game freeze. So the Lord, he freeze. He's not going down. He's not getting up, he's not going down. Such a pure devotee, to see that devotee, the Lord got up halfway to see him. Just stay, he said, just stay as you are. Pesuvali Kesane. He said, just stay as you are and please talk to me. So, but he was going up, then he said, just stay as you are. So in that same temple, Nathamuni came. Nathamuni heard the verses of the Divya Prapandam. And then he asked the priest, is there more? I'm so captivated by these verses. Is there more? So the priest said, only 10 verses are remaining. All lost. Cannot get it back. So these were the verses of Namalvar. So there are 10 Alvars. The chief Alvar is Namalvar. Because of the 4,000 verses, 1,292 verses written by Namalvar. The rest were written by the other Alvars. So you must understand these Alvars are not all normal people. You see Vishnu. Vishnu is having Sankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, Kaustuba. They are all different parts of him. Like Kulashekar Alvar is the Kaustuba gem. So each of them came to propagate the message of the Lord. So the pure devotees are so kind because we are trapped in this cycle of birth, and that they come to help us to hear this knowledge. They come to give us this knowledge of the Lord. So now the priest told him, you go to Alvar Tirunagari, down south. This is where Namalvar appeared. You go there and you pray to him and you chant these verses and you see what happens. So he went all the way down to Namalvar. So Namalvar is avatar of Vishwakshena. Vishwakshena is the chief commander in Vaikuntha. Just like, in temple, everywhere you have a chief, right? Temple chief. So he's the temple chief. He's the Vaikuntha chief. So Namalvar, when he came, he actually was a child and he stayed inside a tree. As a baby, he was the tree. We go, the same tree is there. There's a big hole. He's sitting in the tree. He was sitting there for 16 years without talking until he met his disciple, Madhura Kavi Alvar. Then he started to speak. Because Yanisha Sarvabhutanam Pasyam Jagrati Samyam. He's not talking because there's nobody qualified to also wanting to hear this. So he waited until another pure devotee came to hear him. So this person, Natha Muni, went there, he started to hear. He started to chant these 10 verses. So the devotees there told him, you keep chanting. And then Namalvar will bless you. You keep chanting. So he chanted the 10 verses 12,000 times. And Namalvar came. And Namalvar not only gave him the 1,292 verses, he gave him all the 4,000 verses which were missing. So we are saying that you need a living guru. Did you see the person living here? I mean, of course, pure devotee always living, but did he come in physical form? No, he came when the connection is lost. Evam parampara praptam imam raja risayo vido sakalena mahata yoga nashta parantapa. Krishna says, I will come back and re-establish the connection. And how he came? He came, the guru came, Namalvar came, the connection was lost, he came back and gave the knowledge again, to Natha Muni. And Natha Muni compiled all the 4,000 verses, and that's how the Sampradaya again revived itself. See? So he came back and he started to propagate this knowledge. And then he had a son. So he is like the first Acharya who is reviving in the current time. So when he came back, he started propagating. He had a son called Ishvara Muni. So this Ishvara Muni, also pure devotee, got married. So they went to pilgrimage. They went to Vrindavan. After came back from Vrindavan, the wife got pregnant. So when the son was born, the grandfather named him as Yamuna because they went to Vrindavan, no? So the father and mother, they were very attached to the Yamuna river. So like that, he was called Yamuna. Then after a while, the father passed away. Ishvara Muni passed away. And then the grandfather felt he realized this is the time to detach from family life. He took sannyas, he left. So the boy just grew up with his mother. And at 5 years old, this Yamuna was going to the school of Bhasyacharya, one devotee, one guru, Bhasyacharya, and he was learning from him. And he was so proficient in the knowledge. So much, very fast. 5 years old, he was picking up like anything. So then he became such a great scholar in a young age. So that time there was this king. So this is how happening in Madurai. Pandya king. So the king at the time had a scholar called Kolahala. This guy is a very arrogant scholar and he will defeat everyone. If you lose to him, you must pay taxes to him. So the king used to support this guy. So this Kolahala is a very proud person, always defeating people. And then he came and defeated Bhasyacharya. And Bhasyacharya had no money to pay for the taxes. 2 years he did not pay. I mean, you see how evil is he? Brahmanas themselves have no money. They live by begging. And Brahmanas, they don't waste time in this material life. They just live simply. Just beg, eat some, and then do Bhagavad Seva. But this person wanted to take money from even the devotees. So he was telling, so what happened one day, 2 years he did not pay, The students of this this Kolahala came and then they started threatening. So the guru was not there, Yamanacharya was there. Yamanacharya was 12 years old this time. He started threatening everyone in the school. Where's your guru? What kind of shameless guru? He's not paying the money. He want to die. He don't pay, we'll kill him. What kind of, this is Sattva Guna. This is Brahmanical. So a lot of prideness. So heavy with pride. Just because you got knowledge, you're so heavy. So even sometimes the mode of goodness is like that. Mode of goodness also, you'll become very proud. I'm Brahmin, no? We know all these mantras. You see, like these guys. So they started to shout like this. Then that time Yamanacharya is a very humble person, but he got so angry because he cannot tolerate his guru being offended. He started to challenge. He said, what kind of guru? What your guru is teaching you? Look at how much shameless you are. How much arrogant you are. Is this when you learn the Shastra, you must become so humble. You are so arrogant. He said, your guru is not even teaching you correctly. And then they got very angry with him. He said, okay, you don't talk so much. Tell your guru to pay the money or he will be killed. He better lose his life, better he suicide. Then Yamunacharya said, "Hey, how dare you challenge my guru? Who you think you are? You go and tell Kolahala, my guru is not, you are not capable to face my guru. Face me first. You challenge me." Then they were surprised. How come this boy is so confident? No? Then they don't know what to say. They ran away. They ran back and told the guru, "You see, this guy is so challenging like this." Then the guy started to laugh. Oh, he's small boy. He's talking so much. Huh? Then king also heard about the challenge. So king said, "Okay." So Yamunacharya, king said, "Okay, we'll send another messenger to see whether this boy is crazy or is he serious. Let's find out." Messenger came. Yamunacharya said, "If your king want to challenge me, bring the palanquin. Bring all the your servants and carry me. Then I will come." What is this? What kind of invitation is this? Then they understood this boy is serious. He's not playing a fool now. So the king went. They told him. The king said, "Oh, he's very serious. This boy. Huh? We'll send the palanquin." Then all the news spread. The news spread everywhere, and everybody was waiting. Everybody who got defeated by him, they were glorifying Yamunacharya. Please do us. Please defeat this guy. Teach him a lesson. And of course, the other guys all laughing. What a small kid. So the king and the queen, they are having conversation now. King is saying, like a cat, like a big cat, Kolahala will destroy this small mouse. Nothing, a small boy. Then the queen said, when there is so much of cloth, one small spark can cause a big fire and destroy the entire mountain of cloth. Similarly, this small spark of Yamunacharya can destroy the mountain of pride of this Kolahala. Then the king said, "You are so confident. Are you sure he can do this?" He said, "Let's have a bet." So queen said, "Okay, if Yamunacharya loses, I will become the servant of your mate." Queen wanted to be servant. Then the king said, "Okay, that is a very strong bet. I'll give you another strong bet. If the Yamunacharya wins, I'll give half my kingdom." So you're wondering why he became a king, right? So the king said, "I will give half my Pandya kingdom to him if he wins." So everybody waited, came inside. So everybody was like glorifying. Oh, then she said, when they come in, this person, Kolahala said, "Alavandar." Alavandar in Tamil means the one who came to rule. So he was saying, "You think you came to rule? You came to rule me? You think you are the Alavandar?" Then the queen heard this. The queen said, "Yes, he's the Alavandar." If you see this nonsense guy, Kamal Hassan, he has a movie called Alavandar because he's a Sri Vaishnava. Actually, he's Iyengar, but he became atheist and started doing nonsense. He did Dashavatar also. He's using all these Vaishnava ideas and making nonsense movies. So he had one movie called Alavandar, doing called crazy things. The real Alavandar is Yamunacharya. So anyway, they had this talk like this. So the boy came. Then the Kolahala said, "Okay, you dare to challenge me, right? Okay, let's start." And he started to ask him all simple questions. Grammatical questions, Sanskrit grammar, all this Nyaya. Boy answered very easily, very smooth. And then the boy said, "You think I'm a small child, that's why you're giving me all these small jujube questions, right? Huh? You think, you don't know Ashtavakra? Ashtavakra also was a small boy. He defeated another scholar when he was a small kid. He said, Ashtavakra, he said, if the scholarship is based on age and size, then the water buffalo is more intelligent than you." Then he felt angry. He felt the burn in his heart, but he cannot show. No? He just smiled. He said, "Okay." Then he started asking more and more difficult, complex questions. He was answering like anything. Then now came Yamunacharya turn. He said, "Okay, now your turn. You ask question." Then Yamunacharya said, "Okay, now my turn, right? You must refute this point." He'll make a statement. You refute this statement. Your mother is not a barren woman. You know what it means? Barren woman means somebody who cannot give birth to a child. So he said, "Your mother is not a barren woman." So he cannot refute because he was born from his mother, right? If you say, "No, my mother is is a barren woman," that means he lose the argument. So he cannot say anything. He kept quiet. So second point, Yamunacharya said, the king, Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan King. The queen, so he said, second one, the queen is not a chaste lady. You understand? He said, the queen is not chaste. So how do you refute this point? If you refute the point, you're saying that the queen is unchaste, right? Then he cannot say anything. He got stuck. Okay, last point. The king is not a good. He's not a sin. He's a very sinful guy. He's not a good king at all. He's collecting a lot of sin. He's not righteous. He's not dharmic. He also cannot refute that, because if he say if he is like, if he refutes that, then the king is, you know what I mean. So like that, he caught him all 3 points. Then everybody started to clap. Oh, he's trapped. And then this guy say, "You rascal! How dare you ask me to say these things? How can I insult the king? How can I insult his wife? Huh? You're trying to play a fool with me, right? Okay, I'll tell you something. You refute these things. If you can refute this, uh, then you win me. If not, you better go and die." Then everybody started to cheer for him. Then another group of people started to say, "No, no, no, he's cheating." So like that commotion was going on. Then Yamunacharya said, "Don't worry, I will refute all these 3 points." So he said, "So your mother is not a barren woman. How will I refute this?" Actually, in Manu Shastra, Manu Samhita, it is stated that if a child, his mother has only one son, Kolahala. So Manu Samhita says, if you only have one child, you are considered barren only. Because those days they used to have hundreds of children, no? So one child is also considered barren. So he said, "See, your mother is barren because only one child." Now, number 2, the queen is not chaste. Yes, because the king is a representative of who? Indra, Vayu, Agni, Varuna, the 8th, Kubhera, the 8 Dikpalakas. The king is a representative of the Dikpalakas. So she's married to all 8 people also, right? So she's not chaste. Like that he told. And the last part, the king is not righteous, he's sinful, because the king will take 1/6 of the population sin. And now is Kali Yuga, everybody is doing sin. So even though the king is such a great soul, great king, Raja Rishi, 1/6 of the people population sin is coming to him. That's how he's sinful. So everybody got so shocked. Everybody started to shout, "Alavanda, Radhavanda." He defeated him. And then the king, all surrender. What a argument, what a refutation. Then the king said, "I will fulfill my promise. You become the king now. You take over half my kingdom." And then Kolahala was handed over to him. Now you do whatever you want to him. And he was a pure devotee, right? He forgave him. He said, "Never mind, I forgive you. You don't do this nonsense again." He broke his pride. So now his priorities suddenly changed after becoming a king. He was becoming so busy in, we are already so busy. Every time we tell, what we'll tell, no time. No time. Can come do this, Prabhu can come, no time, Prabhu. If we have no time, then the king got how much time, no? So he became so busy, time gone. Cannot even think about spiritual life as much. So then now we will rewind back. His grandfather, when the grandfather took sannyas, the grandfather had a last wish. You know what is the last wish? His grandfather had a disciple called Uyakondar. So he told to Uyakondar, Yamunacharya, he's a small boy, no? Yamuna was very small boy. Yamuna grows up, you impart this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita to him. Teach him the Gita. This is the real wealth of life. So Uyakondar waited, he also passed away. Yamunacharya was still growing. So Uyakondar told to his disciple Manakal Nambi, you please make sure, fulfill his grandfather promise, teach him the Bhagavad Gita. So Manakal Nambi was waiting, and now he was going to teach him, he became king. What to do? Cannot do anything. His priorities shifted from a devotee to a king. So what Manakal Nambi, he went to see the king, and where the king will sit down and listen to you. I say, I want to talk to you Bhagavad Gita. Where the king will listen to you. He's so busy. No? Only Rama did that. Rama, when Ramayana was being recited, he was listening to the same Ramayana of Lava Kush. Lava and Kush were reciting Ramayana. He would sit down with the audience and he was listening. You see, the Hari Katha attracts even Hari. Katha is so attractive that Hari himself comes to listen. So here he was trying many ways how to get him. King have no time, cannot even see him. So he did one thing. He knows that Yamunacharya liked this certain kind of shark. He will come every day to the kitchen and deliver the shark. Cook this. Every day he was eating the shark. I don't know, there's a variety. Sak. The green vegetable, no? Sak. So there's a certain, I don't know what is the name. So every day he was eating. Then after 6 months, this guru Manakal Nambi did not come to the kitchen. So this person eating, he asked the cook, "How come the green vegetable missing now? What happened?" Then he told, "Oh, one guru comes here. He gives today. Last 3 days he's not coming. I don't know why." He said, "Oh, I see. Tomorrow if he comes, you ask him to see me." The same tactic Prabhupada used in London. He said, "You go and get the Beatles." So what the devotees did, you cannot go to the Beatles directly. They went to the Apple studio where the Beatles are. They keep making prasadam, cake. I don't know, apple cake or what cake, apple pie. They keep distributing. Then the Beatles, they are eating. George Harrison was eating. So who's making this? The devotee said, "Let's see them." Like that, indirect way of preaching. So like that, Yamunacharya said, "Okay, I want to see him." So next day he came. 3 days later he came. He knows. So the cook said, "The king wants to see you. Come." Said, "Okay, my mission successful." He went to see the king, and the king said, "Okay, you look like a great sadhu. Why are you doing this? Are you trying to get something out of me? Is there something, a favor you want? That's why you are doing this roundabout way to see me?" He said, "I'm not here for you, for whatever. I'm not here to take anything from you, but I'm here to give something to you that you do not have." And what is that? What do you do not have? Say, "What I do not have? I'm a king, He said, you have forgotten the message of Krishna. You have forgotten the real wealth is the Bhagavad Gita. This is what your grandfather wanted me to give to you. I'm here to deliver this to you." Then he said, "Really? Okay." Then he sit down and he listened to the Gita every day. And after hearing, entire 18 chapters, patiently he heard. And then he cried and he said, "What have I wasted my time?" He was saying this verse, Yadavadi Mama Keta Krishna Padara Vrindayo. What is which purport is it? 252. So you see, he says here, Yamunacharya says here, 260, yeah? Which purport it appears? Yadavadi Mama. Yeah. Mama Cheta Krishna Padara Vrinde Navanava Rasa Dhamani Udatam Rantum Asti Tadavadi Patanari Sangame Samyamane Bhavati Mukha Vihara Shushtu Nishti Bhanam Cha. Since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, and I have been enjoying newer and newer transcendental humor. So how much happiness comes by engaging with Krishna, hearing about Krishna. Whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at that thought. So because he was a king, there was so much of sense gratification. So here he's saying the knowledge of Krishna, the joy of learning about Krishna, is so much greater than even the highest pleasure in the material world, which is sex life. This is the Adiras, right? So this is his own words. So after hearing the Gita from Manakal Nambi, he gave up everything. He said, "I'm ready to renounce. That's it. I want to dedicate my life to the Sampradaya," and preached. Then he told to Manakal Nambi one thing, it is so nice to hear the words of Krishna. Can I see him? Can I meet him? And Manakal Nambi said, "Oh, you want to see him?" "Yes. I mean, I've heard his words. I want to see him." So that is the thing. You see, when we keep hearing about Krishna, we will get the eagerness to want to see him. That is how the bhakti, like, you're making the sugar, right? What do you call that? The sweet. You keep boiling, become more and more condensed. What is the sweet? The milk sweet? Rabri. So bhakti gets more and more condensed. You will see the Lord in the end. So but of course they are pure devotees. We cannot see it. We have to see through the knowledge by hearing. We are still conditioned. So now Manakal Nambi said, "Come with me to Sri Rangam." Ranganath is there, He is lying down. So he went to Sri Rangam and he told to Ranganath, he could talk to the Lord directly, Ranganath, he told, "I brought your devotee now. Yamunacharya is here. Please show your Divya Rupa." And then by hearing the words of Manakal Nambi, the Lord shows his transcendental form from the Vigraha. And immediately he surrendered. And he started preaching. And then after that, Ramanujacharya takes Diksha from him and brings the Sampradaya to another level. So what I'm trying to say in this story here is that our priorities always are changing. Because the mind is always moving here, moving there, moving here. right? But when we understand that Krishna is the goal, right? Krishna is the only goal, then we will fix our priority on this. Just like how Yamunacharya, he changed completely the priority of a king. We are not even a king. He gave up the kingship, right? And he wrote so many books after that. He preached so much, and he brought so much of Krishna consciousness to the south of India. So this is how we should also try to prioritize our life, our time, our activities in always serving the Lord. The verse is there, no? Smartavya satatam Vishnu Vishmartavya na jatutit. How do I? What is that verse, bro? Huh? 20, 22, 118. So you can see this verse here. Smartavya satatam Vishnur Vishmartavya na jatadid Sarva vidaya nishedasyor etayor eva kinkaraha. Lord Vishnu, Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, Krishna is the origin of Vishnu, should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. So this is how our priority should be. Our activities should always be remembering Krishna and never forgetting him. And all the rules and prohibition mentioned in the Shastras should be servant to these two principles. Everything else we do in life should be a servant to this main principle. This is how we should mold our priorities. This is how the mind will be controlled. If not, what will happen? Hari Hari Bifale Janama Ghoino. Manusha Janma Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya. Janiya Suniya Vishakaino. Even getting human body, we have forgotten Hari, Radha Krishna. We have forgotten Radha and Krishna, and we are drinking this poison. You're getting this human body, Manusha Janma, right? We are willingly drinking poison. Let's forgetting the Lord. So all comes from the point of controlling the mind and rearranging the priorities. So we need strength to control the mind. So that's why we have to daily chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So, and keep hearing. Of course, it's not overnight possible. Will come. We must be aware at least. Oh, I wasted time watching this. Let's try to hear Prabhupada again. Let's try to hear Prabhupada lecture. Let's try to read. Bring it back. Let's come to temple. Let's see any service can be done. When you do service also, your mind and your senses are engaged, right? Let's preach. This is the best service. You know why? Right now, it's not that I am preaching to you all and you are listening. No, I'm preaching. I am actually controlling my mind for the last 2 hours. Because I am speaking for the last 2 hours, there is no chance my mind to remember anything else. I cannot, if I'm remembering anything else, I cannot talk properly about it. So it's a great favor that I have a possibility to do this service by speaking. At least these 2 hours, my mind was controlled. So similarly, if you take up the job of reading and preaching about Krishna, when you preach about Krishna, your mind is controlled, right? That's why Prabhupada keep emphasizing on book distribution and preaching. When you preach about Krishna more and more, the mind becomes more controlled. Because at that time, how you can think about anything else? Is it possible? You cannot multitask this. You're talking about Krishna and suddenly you're so be more intent on hearing. Because when the more you hear, the more you can speak. What is the secret? The secret is in the hearing. Hearing from Prabhupada, hearing from the devotees. Okay, so I think 9 is time up, 8:50. I will stop here. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, so there's no question. We'll end the stream.